Chapter 7. Speaking in tongues as Moon takes his seat at the teacher's lunch table in what they are now calling their garden. River, with his back to the cafeteria door, places an extra-large lunchbox on the table. He looks at Moon and says, "I hope you don't mind, but I invited Dr. Garcia and his wife to join us for lunch." Moon simply says, "I don't mind. No wonder you brought such a large lunchbox today. What's in it?" "It's a surprise," is River's response. "I'm a bit nervous about it, though. I hope they enjoy it and don't see it as some type of ethnic parroting or cultural appropriation in any way." They hear the doors open and Dr. Garcia walks over to their table. His wife comes in a few seconds after him. River and Moon discussed earlier whether they should converse in Spanish during lunch or keep that secret. They both decided it's not a secret they wish to keep from the principal and his wife. River starts the conversation in Spanish. "Welcome. Please have a seat at our table, and then I will unpack our lunch." Ms. Garcia stares at him, and her eyes are not as happy as he hoped they would be. Keeping the Spanish conversation going, she looks at Moon and says, "I guess you also speak Spanish?" Moon responds in perfect Spanish, "I'm sorry we kept a secret from you." He points at River with his chin and says, "River and I can speak several languages. The ones we have in common are English, French, and Spanish." River smiles and nods. Still not happy, she says, "It is really rude when you don't let someone know you speak their language while listening to their private conversation." Dr. Garcia says, "Sit down, mother. We were the first ones to be rude by talking about them in Spanish, assuming they wouldn't understand us." She just huffs at him. "Please sit down, I'm hungry." He looks at the large lunchbox. It's half the size of a big backpack. "What's for lunch, River?" To answer his question, River pops the top off of the lunchbox. It contains two smaller boxes. Sitting the hot one down, he opens it and says, "Tacos." Opening the other container, he says, "This is the cold tray that has all the condiments." He looks nervously at them. Ms. Garcia looks pleasantly surprised. She sits down and begins inspecting the contents. "What did you get these?" "They look like they are from a taco truck, but there are none around here. I made the tortillas last night, but everything else I made this morning before I came to school." River answered, "Try one and tell me what you think." She looks skeptical, but she grabs a tortilla and starts building a thick taco that drips a little red grease from one end. She takes a big bite. Her only response is a smile, and she signals for her husband to make one. Finally, she says, "These are as good as mine. Where did you learn to cook like this?" River says, "YouTube. You can find all kinds of recipes there with step-by-step videos." Moon starts making his taco once Dr. Garcia is out of the way. River says, "Moon, could you make one for me also? I need to go to the toilet before I eat. I haven't gone since I left the house this morning." He sits his phone down on the table. "Grandmother said she would call during lunch today. Please answer it for me. Hopefully, I'll be back before she calls." Moon says, "What's your password?" With his back already to the table, River turns his head and says, "It's your birthday." Dr. and Ms. Garcia share a look of confusion, and Moon, who is suddenly embarrassed, quickly fills his mouth with a big bite of taco. A couple of minutes after River left the garden, his phone rang. Moon quickly wipes his hands and grabs it. It's a video call, and he hesitantly answers it. There's a lovely woman, probably in her 60s, looking back at him. She looks like a retired supermodel. Perfect hair, with just enough makeup to accentuate her natural beauty. Moon is a little confused. There is nothing about her that would match the appearance of a Native American. She has a distinctive Nordic or European look. In French, she says, "Close your mouth, handsome, and tell me why you have my grandson's phone." At that time, River comes through the door, and all Moon can do is face the phone toward him, motioning for him to take it from him. Instead, River walks around the table and squats down just behind him. He puts an arm over Moon's shoulder and responds to his grandmother in French. "Nana, this is Moon, the guy I told you about." Still holding the phone, Moon turns his head to look at River's face just inches away from his own. She lets out a loud laugh. "Oh, he's even more handsome than you described." "Hello, Moon. You can call me Nana, never Granny or Grandmother, only Nana." Moon calms down and begins to smile. "Hello, Nana. Sorry, I was a little shocked by your appearance. River never told me what you looked like. You are gorgeous." River takes the phone from him and turns it toward their lunch guests. "Nana, this is Dr. Garcia, our principal, and Ms. Garcia, the Spanish teacher. The Garcias are a little surprised by the video call and the conversation being all in French. Ms. Garcia says, "I'm sorry, but we don't speak French." Dr. Garcia begins putting another taco together and says to them all, "Just finish your call. Mother and I are going to have another taco." He hands his wife a taco, and in Spanish he tells her to eat and mind her own business. She gave him a dirty look, but takes the taco. River gets comfortable and sits next to Moon so that they can both be seen on Nana's screen. She says, "River, I was calling to ask you to come to Houston this weekend. I'm hosting a party for some important locals Saturday night, and I would like to show you off." River looks at Moon, who give him a little nod. "Moon and I were planning a trip to Houston this weekend. Moon's going to show me around Chinatown. I've already made hotel reservations in the Galleria area. We were wanting to surprise you with dinner Saturday night." She actually squeals, "Excellent. It's a semi-formal event, so bring a nice suit. No tuxedos. I don't want people thinking you two are the waiters. Call me when you get to your hotel." She hangs up just as River shouts, "Wait, don't hang up yet." He grunts out a groan. Moon stares at him. "What was that all about?" River says, "I'm not sure. I think she is scheming about something. I guess we will find out on Saturday." Looking at Dr. Garcia and his wife, who are pretending to eat their tacos and speaking Spanish quietly, River and Moon can see the curiosity leaking from them. River says, "My grandmother is inviting Moon and I to visit her in Houston this weekend. We had already planned a trip there so Moon could show me Chinatown. Now we get to spend some of that time with her." He smiles broadly. Moon makes another taco and avoids eye contact with him. He looks nervous,